Welcome back everyone to These Are Raf Times, the series of videos here on Rafchild Records channel where I, Raf, talk about all kinds of things that are important to how I run the label, who I am, what made me start a label, my thoughts on like the heavy metal industry and scene are, just those things. And today I want to talk about something that happened before I started Rafchild Records, and it's something that has obviously also influenced the label a lot. Today I want to talk about Riddle of Steel Festival that, happened from 2017 until 2019 so far. And I'll talk a bit about how I ended up with a festival and all these other things. Oh, first of all, I want to talk about something else. Have you noticed that we have now actual thumbnails? Those are a courtesy of my good friend Phillip, who will end up in this video later on as well. Okay, so let's get into Riddle of Steel. Cheers. Okay, a Riddle of Steel Festival in Marburg in December 2017, 2018, and 2019. Like so many things in my life, it actually started by accident. Like my entire life is basically one accident after the other. It's like I often have like ideas and dreams, and then I'm waiting for situations that sort of make it like easier, like more understandable for myself, and make it easier to rationalize things to myself to actually do those rather stupid things. So if you look back at the video I made about how I sort of got more into like the deeper parts of the metal scene from 2007, the Magic Circle Festival, this is something that's important right now, because I mean back then in the video I said that it made me do more things, become more active in the scene. And now we come to 2017, and at the beginning of 2017, Manowar announced that they would do their final Battle World Tour to end their careers. Now, we all know that obviously didn't happen, and the band is still going, well, I wouldn't say strong, but the band, or at least Joey DeMaio and Eric Adams are still going at this point. But, you know, we didn't know that back in 2017, although we strongly suspected it. So what happened was that my friend Jake Haggis from Australia actually messaged me and messaged the others, John and Chinch, like the whole gang. And it's like, hey, you know, it's like 10 years since we met. We've been friends ever since. We met off and on at festivals or whatever. Let's just, you know, meet up and go to one Manowar concert again. Like, this sounds like a terrible movie already, right? So anyway, he said like, yeah, let's do that. And then the others said like, yeah, sure, let's do that. We can all go to the concert in Frankfurt. And Jake and John from Canada decided to fly over. And I thought that's incredible that they fly over and visit me so we can go to a Manowar concert together. And the concert is on a Friday, so maybe I can organize a small concert on Saturday. At this point, I already had like found my friends here with the Bifrost Association where we organize concerts. And I figured like maybe I can just, you know, ask a couple of bands that I like to come and play a show. So we have something to do on Saturday, and like something I can do for my friends if they already take this long travel on themselves. So that's the idea. So I started messaging a couple of bands that I like and asking them if any of them would be interested in playing. And after about a weekend, I had 7 confirmations, like 7 bands that said, yes, of course we want to play. And that was more than just a small show with 2 or 3 bands, obviously. And that's when the idea of making it like a small one-day epic metal festival came into being. And I basically ran from there and said like, yeah, let's do that. Let's call it Riddle of Steel because obviously of the Conan connection. It's epic. Manila Road have a song called Riddle of Steel. But, you know, it all fit the whole aesthetic I wanted to go for and something I really like. And like the bands that played that first year were bands I always wanted to see. Some of them had never played in Germany, or definitely bands that you didn't get to see all the time. And like one of them was A Sound of Thunder, whom I've had like always wanted to see in Germany, and it sort of never really worked out. But in the end, it's like, now I have the festival, that makes sense, let's do it that way. And luckily, shortly after that, in summer 2017, their version of the Catalan national anthem, El Segadors, blew up, and they got the chance to play in Catalonia, which made it a bit more viable financially for them to be here, because obviously I couldn't pay their entire like trip over here. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, we got like a bunch of bands. We only got like one German band, my friends from Mountain Throne, whom I will actually release their new and upcoming album, The Silver Light, sometime in winter, probably. I mean, we don't know the exact date yet. But so yeah, you know, you already noticed that there's like connections were forged at that festival that played into the whole label thing later on. So yeah, Mountain Throne from Germany were playing there. My friend Angel Martyr from Italy, whom I had known from before. So it's the band of Tiziano, who is also singing for Edgeworth's Grave. And the year before, like in 2016, no, it was actually January 2017, I traveled to Italy for 2 shows with my friends from Witchfinder, to play a show in Prato and one in Parma. And then I got lost on the train station in Parma because I don't speak Italian. I didn't have any tickets to get to Milan, where I needed to go to catch a plane to Hungary. And I was still very much not sober after partying the night before. But that's like a whole other story I can tell at some point, I guess. Anyway, so Tiziano and his band Angel Martyr, whom I already saw once before. No, I didn't. Actually, I just met him. Yeah, so I'm actually on that show with Manila Road and Iron Sword in Brescia, also in 2016, I believe. Anyway, my mind wanders. Time to strengthen it. So yeah, it was Angel Martyr from Italy, and then I asked Arkham Witch, whom I always loved and who are like great guys and just amazing people and have really good songs about a lot of obscure pulp literature. And this will definitely tie back to like some of the other longer literature videos I'm planning to do. So Arkham Witch from England, they said yes. Then I got both Ravensire and Iron Sword from Portugal. And I really wanted Ravensire because they never played in Germany before, and it was something I didn't understand why, so I said, like, let's do that. And Iron Sword, obviously I love Iron Sword. So that all made sense. And we got another band that I really wanted to have in Germany again, was Democracy from Crete. I like the guys. I had seen them once before, or twice before. I think actually twice before, like once at Up the Hammer's warm-up, I think, and once in at Hammer of Doom years before that. So I asked them, and I also got them like 2 more shows to play to make it a bit more worth their while. One in the Netherlands, no, Belgium actually, and one in Hamburg with my friends from BST. So I got them, and yes, obviously A Sound of Thunder, which was also great fun. And so mostly I was still missing a headliner. And luckily, my friend Manolis, who organizes Up the Hammers Festival, he offered to play with his then Heavy Load tribute band, Heathens from the North, also with one of the original Heavy Load people singing, which was a lot of fun to have that as a headliner. But, overall, it was like 9 bands in the end. It was a lot of bands you don't get to see that often, and all sort of in the broad epic metal, epic doom metal, power metal area, which is the kind of music I like really a lot. And then what happened then was that we actually managed to... oh, yeah, right. Obviously, I also asked my friend Gianluca Silvi to play with his amazing band Battle Ram. All of those bands, go check them out. They're all incredible. As I said, Heavy Load with not Heavy Load, but Heathens from the North, but featuring Eddie Malm from Heavy Load was supposed to be the headliner. And then what happened was that I talked to the other guys in Bifrost and said, hey, we should do that. And the idea was that we will do that. But if the event wouldn't break even, I personally would cover the money that we didn't make. Now, this is important because what we set out to do was to pay the actual costs, like transportation costs for every band, which is something not every festival does all the time, especially for opening bands, but we ended up paying flights for every band in the end, although I think I still owe Gianluca some gas money at this point. Well, I will pay that at some point, I promise. Anyway, so what happened over the years was a good friend of mine was very much helping me with this. We've been to festivals together a lot of times all over the world, and what we did that year was actually we went to all these festivals. We went to Up the Hammers, and we took some pictures there with some of the people that were supposed to play at the festival. And then we went to Metal Keeper in Portugal, and we took pictures there with Ravensire and Iron Sword. And we sort of used those pictures for announcing the bands. We used them to, show how we gathered all our heroes for this noble quest of Riddle of Steel all over the world. So we did that over the year and started planning. And what you have to understand is I have never organized something like that. And it is mostly due to the actual organizational skills of my friend that this actually went off without any big issues. Yeah, my friend Phillip, who designed the amazing thumbnails, also made the artwork, the poster for the event, which was also supposed to be no, he didn't. Actually, he didn't. The first year, it was someone from our association, Cosima, who did the artwork for the first one. Philip did the artwork for the second and third one, so we're going to come back to that later on. Anyway, we printed T-shirts. We didn't sell all the T-shirts. I still have tons of those T-shirts. I'll probably put them up on Bandcamp or something. So if anyone wants an original Riddle of Steel 1, 2, or 3 shirt, I'll have some of those. Very limited stock at this point. And I'm happy to send them to whoever wants them for just a little money. Anyway, so we got artwork from Cosima and very late and printed tickets and started selling them at summer festivals. And in the end, around 200 people showed up, and we had a lot of fun. We decorated the whole thing in a most as Conan as possible, sword and sorcery style. We actually had something that we was my friend's idea, and it became something of a specialty for the festival. Was that at the entrance we had shots, alcohol, booze from all the home countries, home regions of the bands that played. So you could go to the entrance and show your allegiance to one of the bands by drinking a shot from their home country. So we had Siporo for the Greek bands, we had Grappa for the Italian bands. We had I don't know what else we had at that point. Oh yeah, we had Medronho from for the Portuguese band and so forth. It was a lot of fun. People gathered, a lot of friends showed up, that like people we met all over the years that I've known, that my friend had known. You know, it was, in the end, it was a very, very amateurish concert, but with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy, and a lot of alcohol. I think no one really walked out of there sober. You know, like bands sleeping on my couch, and then we found like one of the other attendees who didn't have a train until next day and didn't have a place to sleep. So we just picked him up and took him also to my apartment so he could stay there. And my friends from Australia and Canada were there. And like the day before, we went to the Manowar concerts, and people like Gianluca actually showed their absolute trueness by driving all the way from Italy to Marburg, parking their van, jumping on a train with us, going to Frankfurt to watch Manowar, and going back with us in the middle of the night without sleep. Yeah, that's the kind of thing we did then. And as I said, it was a overall, like, emotionally an absolute success. So yeah, we did it again. Like, of course we lost money. I lost money. I will not say the exact numbers, but it was a lot of money that I put into this whole thing. Yeah, the next year we did the same, because a lot of people were asking, will there be a second Riddle of Steel? And then I said, yes, of course there will be a second Riddle of Steel. And my friend said, oh, there will never be another Riddle of Steel. And then we made a vote, and then yes, there was a second Riddle of Steel. And we once again got some really amazing bands that I mostly thought didn't get the attention hereabouts that they deserve. For example, we brought Höhre from France to Germany for the first time. Look out, their debut album will be out later this year, and it will be amazing music, I can promise you that. And we got Darkest Era from Ireland, who are really not that often here, and their other band, Ironborn, came as well, so we had those. We had our friends from Skull Wings playing the second year round. For later in the evening, we got our amazing, like really, really amazing headliner, Darkwater. Their new album will be out this year as well, and I urge you all to check out this new album and their older stuff. Darkwater is one of the best bands in the world, one of my favorite bands. And also, they are true gentlemen, and they're like amazing musicians, amazing people. I cannot speak highly enough of this band. Show them some love. They really, really deserve it. Before that, we had Domine from Italy, which was another band that I really, really enjoyed live. So yeah, the second year was once again a lot of fun. One of the bands supposed to play was Magister Templi from Norway. Good friends, but unfortunately they had to cancel. But this actually turned out to be not the worst thing that could have happened, because I needed a replacement, and the replacement was Cardinals Folly. I had to find a replacement, and it took Miko and the boys like half an hour to figure out that they had time, and I got a replacement within half an hour after writing to them, which was amazing. They came over, they played a killer show, even though Miko's bass broke near the end of the show. It was a lot of fun, and obviously that connection also stayed because, yeah, I released that latest Cardinals Folly album, and maybe there will be more Cardinals Folly stuff coming from Rafchild Records in the near future. I'm not supposed to say anything right now, but I'm pretty sure we can announce it really soon, and people who follow Cardinals Folly on social media can already guess what will happen there. Anyway, so that's the kind of thing that happened in year 2. It was once again, it was well attended, it wasn't sold out, and once again we lost some money. I lost some money, some personal money, because once again we paid all the flights and all the transportation costs for all the bands, and yeah, that costs like, I mean, yeah, there's nothing else to say about that. It's just like, if you pay flights from all over Europe, it costs money. That's just how these things are. Yeah. I've also got, for the first time, my friend from Reflection to come over for the first show in Germany. Probably first show this far west in Europe in any they ever played, with my good friend Stathis, and like on very short notice, Leo and Albert from Forsaken from Malta decided to come over as just fans. And since Leo sang on one Reflection album, he went on stage and sang a couple of songs with Reflection. So once again, it was an amazing party. It was a lot of fun. And once again, we lost money. But, you know, this pattern established, we decided to do it a third time. And you could already see my good friend, how he was like crying and despairing. But, you know, it also was a lot of fun. And for the third year, we managed a couple of things that were really cool. First of all, we got Atlantean Codex to headline the whole thing, which was crazy considering how small the venue is and compared to the kind of places they're at this point able to sell out. We also got one of the things I'm really proud of. We got Crush from Greece to play their first concert outside of Greece, and it was an incredible show. It was really, really, really good. I really enjoyed it a lot. We got Vendel from Russia for their first show ever outside of Russia, which was also an amazing show. We got our friends from Achelous to play as openers. Actually, Stathis, who produced the first album, gave me their CD on Riddle of Steel 2, and I decided to ask them out to actually play Riddle of Steel 3. So when my friend and I were over in Athens in December 2018, we met with Chris for lunch and beers, and that's when we made the deal that they will come over. So a lot of this is very much on the personal level. Like, I ask friends to play. It's not so much about the names of the bands. It's very much about friendship. And this is basically how Riddle of Steel worked for 3 times. The third time we once again lost money. That's basically because on relatively short notice I added one final co-headliner that was like, I really, really wanted them to play, but that cost a lot of money. I'm just saying, like, if I hadn't booked Helheim, Riddle of Steel 3 would have broken even. But on the other hand, I now managed to see Helheim play in my home city, so that was also really cool. And yeah, once again, it was a very, very alcoholic thing. I also got my friends from Burning Shadows from the US over here just in time for the release for the Beneath the Ruins EP that I released. So that was great fun. That was really cool. And also my good friends from Wotan. And after some delays, at least the CD version of their new album arrived just in time for the for the festival to sell there. And then, like, the weekend afterwards, we went to Athens, where Wotan and Burning Shadows played at my friend Greg's amazing Into Battle festival. I'm not sure if it will happen this year or not because of coronavirus, but if it happens, go there, go to Into Battle festival in Athens. It's a very cool old school heavy metal concert organized by one of the best guys, like, in our actual scene right now. And I will definitely be there if it happens once again. Yeah, that was like those 3 festivals for episode 2 and episode 3. My good friend Phillip, who made the thumbnails, made the artworks. You know, they're always like the second one, since we had like Irish bands and Greek bands. His idea was to have like a Cyclops fighting against a more Celtic looking warrior giant Balor of the Evil Eye. and it's his interpretation on the artwork. And on the third one, we have a more... how can I explain this? On the third one, we have a female warrior fighting a Cthulhuoid fish god monster. Yeah, something I really like. And as I said, I'll link to the t-shirts on Bandcamp, and if anyone wants one, I'll be happy to send out some more, because I still have a bunch of them up in my living room in a box on my sofa, and it would be neat to have my sofa back. Yes. So what did I learn from all of this, and what's the future like? Okay, what I learned from all of this is that there's two ways to run a festival. The first one is to make it break even, to make it, you know, maybe make some money, but at least not lose a lot of money. And that is, in today's market, very difficult. There's basically, you need a big headliner, one that draws a lot of people. And right now in Europe, in this very small scene that I'm mostly active in, that's basically one headliner, and that's Atlantean Codex. You cannot have them every year. Or you book like US bands, and that costs you a lot of money, and then you don't have money to pay other bands. In general, you can do this like in a viable, financially viable way by not paying the bands well. The other thing is that usually it really helps if you can actually make money from the drinks. But in the venue we had, we couldn't do that because the money went to the venue, like drinks money went to the venue. And that's basically what made it financially so problematic, because, yeah, if we had gotten at least part of the beer money, we would have broken even every time. Second one is we fucked up, and it was mostly my problem, like I'm mostly to blame for that. We fucked up when it came to selling merchandise. If we had sold more merchandise or put it out in a more prominent situation, then we would have also made a bit more money that would have helped to break even. But in general, if you decide to pay every band their transportation, this will make it very difficult to both keep the price down and at the same time make it financially viable and still be fair to all the bands and make sure that none of them have to pay to play. That's just the sad reality of how it is. The second way is obviously to do it the way we do, maybe professionalize it a bit more in some regards, try to sell the merchandise a bit more profitable and stuff like that, to make the losses less heavy. But in the end, it's the idea of doing it just for like the friendship, just for the fun. I mean, fun is the wrong word. Fun makes it sound too light, but doing it because you really, really want to, and you really want to fulfill your own dreams by having those bands play in your city. And yeah, if you want that, if you do it just out of your heart, it is very, very difficult to just break even, much less make money. And it's something I don't mind. I didn't mind the last 3 times because I was in a situation where I could handle the financial losses. I will probably not be in that situation if there will ever be a Riddle of Steel 4. So yeah, let's talk about the future of Riddle of Steel. Will there be a Riddle of Steel 4? I really hope so, but I don't know, is the answer. Like, I mean, I would be lying. No, I'm not lying. So basically, after Riddle of Steel 3, of course I thought about Riddle of Steel 4. I already contacted some bands. I will not name them here, but those I messaged obviously no. So I already had something of a lineup together that I really wanted to have. But then obviously the global pandemic came, and we all know how that works for concerts. And Riddle of Steel, the location we have for the place, is not suited for socially distanced concerts. It's too small. It's like, if you want, like, the way people are doing it right now, with like blocks of 10 people and then distance between that, we wouldn't be able to fit in enough people to make the whole thing even, I don't know, not, you know, not break even, but it would be so terribly expensive that I couldn't handle that. That's the point for this year. Also, with travel restrictions and everything, it's very risky. And though I had booked the venue, reserved the venue for the date, it will not happen this year. Because there's also another reason. Okay, I reserved the venue for the first weekend of December, like the last 2 times, which is like the date I wanted to keep for Riddle of Steel. But 2 days ago, Ollie Weinsheimer, who organizes Keep It True and Hammer of Doom and Metal Assault and the, what's it called? Something in Iron festival in January, announced an epic metal show in Würzburg on the 5th of December. So even if there would be a possibility to do it, I wouldn't be able to do the festival on that weekend, because if there's an epic metal show in Würzburg organized by Oliver, they cannot do a festival at the same day. It would just, like, everyone would go to Würzburg. It's just how these things go. So will there be a festival next year? Honestly, I don't know. I would obviously love to have all those bands play here, and I would also obviously love to keep the date first weekend of December. If, however, that epic metal show in Würzburg will continue next year, which I don't know, then I would either have to find another date for Riddle of Steel, or just like scrap the whole thing. The other part is obviously the financial one. As I said, Riddle of Steel is something that never made any money. I can try to look into ways to make it not profitable, but at least finance itself. And I would have to do that because as it stands right now, I don't know what my financial situation will be next year in December. It's just like my scholarship has run out at this point. I need to finish my PhD thesis, and I have a label that is just about breaking even at this point. Just about. Maybe losing a little bit of money. I mean, it lost money over the last year, but I'm at the point right now where it's close to breaking even. So I don't know how the financial situation will be next year. But that being said, there's a lot of bands I really wish to have play in Marburg. I would love to bring back, finally bring Magister Templi here after we managed to not have them here twice. Once because of, they had to cancel for family reasons, and the second time because me and their singer Christopher apparently suck at communication. I'd love to have them here. There's a bunch of other bands I would really like to have play in Marburg. Maybe also add 1 or 2 bands that are already on the label or will be on the label by then. But, that's dreams for the future. And honestly, at this point, I don't know. I would love to keep the date in December for December 2021. That's the dream right now. But as I said, I've just laid out the reasons why I cannot promise anything. That's all I want to say about Riddle of Steel right now. If you have questions, if you want more details, if you want to say anything else, ask questions in the comments, write me personally, or whatever. Like the video, subscribe to the video, enjoy the beautiful thumbnails, and all the other things. And yeah, I guess what you can take away from this is you can do really stupid things that you dream about if you just do them. Don't think too much about the consequences until it's too late, but then just stick to it, because in my experience, if you know who your friends are, your friends will help you. You're my really good friend, I'll just not name him here right now because of it's his private life, so I will not name him here. He has helped. Without him, this whole thing would have never happened once, much less 3 times. But also all the bands that came to play here. A lot of them remain friends. It helped me establish something of a reputation, or at least helped me to forge connections and friendships that then paid off when it came to starting the label and getting bands like Cardinals Folly or Mountain Throne to actually trust me with their new music. And that's something I'm immensely proud of, actually. Like, I'm not proud of the, like, having these bands on the label, having released these albums. I mean, I'm really happy about it, and I really love all the things I've released. But the fact that people, like bands that I have been a fan of for years, that are like, that those people actually trust me enough to give me like responsibility for their releases, is something that really, really, really makes me very happy and proud. And that's one of the things I can take away from Riddle of Steel so far. And well, we'll see. I would still love to have Riddle of Steel 4 and see how that will turn out. And I have a bunch of bands I think some of you might actually love to see live in Marburg. And if there's bands that you wish to see live, then we'll just, you know, put those down in the comments as well. We'll see what we can do. And that's it for now, and I'll wish you all a happy weekend. Enjoy yourselves. I'll be traveling to visit some friends and sell some records, and maybe show some pictures from that on Instagram or whatever, and we'll see how things go. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.